I may have hit the button a touch early. So, hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's your favorite paranormal investigator. My name is Tim Sudano. This is Paranormal Insight, and today on the show, we're going to do another Mish-Mosh. We're going to troll the internet. We're going to talk about certain interesting things that have cropped up over the past week, and well before, because we had guests on before. I was going to have a fantastic guest on, but they had to push their stuff, so you get me again, you lucky, lucky people. First of all, let's get some people in the chat, and let us, which there aren't any yet, I see one of you watching. So what I need is some feedback, because I did a little tweaking on my end, but I want to make sure certain things work. And that is when I share the screen, I want to make sure the sound goes over the wire like it's supposed to. So I'm gonna bring something up. There's two of you now. Woohoo! Welcome to the show. I'm so happy you're watching. I wish I could see who that was. Oh, they're from the paranormal radio stuff. Hi guys. I can't see. That's kind of cool. So if you're there, actually, let me jump over to that one. There we go. In the chat, first off, hello to everyone. Hello, everybody. There we go. And I wanted to, I just want to test stuff. Forget my bandage. It's my sensor thing. Anyway, I wanted to test the volume, so I'm going to play a clip. It's just some random clip I pulled up. There we go. Yeah. I can hear it in my ear. I'm channeling it through my amplifier. And I want to see if you can hear it as well. Okay. So if you can hear that, there's two of you in Paranormal Insight. I'm going to jump over to that chat right now. There we go. Hello, everyone. So I want to know if you can hear this. First off, this is like a general test for the audience. And I'm sorry to take up airtime doing this, but I'm kind of in a bit of a quagmire. Yeah, it's a fun thing. Yeah. And apparently they're supposed to have information on them. Yeah. I don't know who Derek is, but it was cool. So I got 5 of you watching this. And we're still trying to figure out the volume thing. I tell you what, I'll stop this chick for a second. This lady here, Miss Coppersmith. And we'll close that down just for now. And we'll get back to the proper show, and I'll ask everyone if they can hear me or not in a second. Excuse me. They are, and welcome to the 6th person who joined us on from UFO Gods and Extraterrestrials. That's fantastic. Thanks for joining us. I lost one off of. Oh, someone's joined us on from. Is that the Discord? Or no, that's Twitch. Hey, Twitch follower, how's it going? Good to see you. That's fantastic. I didn't know Twitch was active on this. That's pretty cool. Oh my, forgive me. The allergies were, the pollen count's actually kind of high in my neck of the woods, so I'm a little. My nose is going nuts here. I promise that's what it is. Before anyone makes jokes, I saw them coming. So one thing that's kind of been cropping up over and over and over again, especially on my feed, and I don't know why per se, but oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. It is the question that keeps coming up, and it's a question of. And actually, the vice president asked this question, or answered this question, and I don't agree with him. Only because I'm very positive of what I actually witnessed. For those who don't know, and excuse me for repeating myself, but I saw Carl. I always blank on his last name. Tall Whites. Carl, what's his name's Tall Whites. And I don't. It's not that hard of a name to remember. Charles Hall. That's what they're called. That's his name. Charles Hall's Tall Whites. I saw them for myself at the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. So I don't think the Men in Black would be escorting demons around. Not necessarily, anyway. That, I don't know. That just seems way more far fetched than than what they remove. Sorry, so the computer's having fun today. That just seems really far fetched to me that the Men in Black would actually escort demons around. The fact that they look completely foreign, humanoid for sure, but like I said, and let me show you a picture of those guys, just so you know. This is from Charles Hall's book, and that's almost exactly what they look like, if not exactly what they look like, except the kid was wearing normal everyday Earth Kid clothes. Red and white was the color scheme. Someone had a Where's Waldo fetish. That's a guess. Just, kids latch on to things. And, the child's behavior was very enigmatic. Okay, we'll assume that's the right word because I'm blanking on the proper phrase right now. But just very childlike. She goes stomping off to her mom at the end of the story. And mom here had this, I don't know, that could have been the female of it, but I'm thinking it was more, I don't know, there's a hint of a breast under what I describe as Jedi robes. That's the closest thing I can affiliate with these guys. Anyway, so for me, yeah, they look strange. They look really weird, but they're not. They're not demons because they're physical entities. We have multiple people, including more recent whistleblowers, who have said, "Hey, we've interacted with these guys. We've removed their dead bodies from craft. We've cut them open. I don't think they're demons. I'm Catholic, so my faith is pretty clear on what's going on in the whole demon thing. I know that possessed have made themselves look similar in, when they're morphing the body in the face and stuff like that. Oh, I'm really, it's this last ditch effort to try to convince you that, or the exorcist, that, oh, I'm actually this, I'm sorry I deceived you. Take me to your leader kind of a thing. No one buys it because it's such a last ditch effort. But no, for me, from where I come from, and even to take the religion thing, my religion, to the nth degree, the Vatican itself has said no. They're any alien creatures you've seen are creatures, and they're from somewhere else. It's been argued that they're all strictly interdimensional beings from, the spiritual realm, like hell or whatever. I personally do not buy that. I do not buy that. Excuse me. Pardon my burp. I should have muted myself. Like so. But anyway, so let's move on. So I don't know. Demons are not. No. These are things were not demons. They wouldn't have humans interacting with them that closely. For my money, no, not demons. Okay, moving. I will remove that, and I will do that. And then let's look at some of the other fun things that have been cropping up on the internet. One of the goofy things that have been, oh, sorry, my allergies are going nuts here. One of the goofy things that have been going on is the Lots of UFO sightings. Okay, I want you to. Okay, there's a really cool one here. Now, we'll watch it together. Okay, we'll just watch it together and we're going to see what's going on because for my money, I'm a little skeptical of this one. So let's add it to the stage. Let's take a look at it right here. Oh, look at it go. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see what's going on here. Look at that. I may have to mute him because he's bleeping up a storm here. Look at that. That's crazy. Oh, and boom, off it goes. We're going to watch that again. There's two of them. You saw that in the corner? And there's one sneaking by the tree line here. It's interesting. Once it gets clear, that's bam, off he goes. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Look at that. I find that very, very fascinating. And you're going to get a very clear look on it. Before it takes off, I'll try and get it. Yeah. Oh, damn. I caught him right as he blurred. That's fascinating. Okay. And then he whoops, takes off. Boom, off he goes. So, yeah, that's a great one. It's older too, which I kind of like about it. So this is an old video. Look at that. Look at that. Let's see if I can get it before he takes off. Oh, shoot. I wasn't fast enough. Oh, well. But it's a fascinating image. It shows two going by. My guess is this is probably legitimate filming. The only thing that would make me question that, and I'm going to play it, and if I can mute him, I will. And we just saw it. In fact, let me just play it on through. That's fine. Oh, there's two, and I left the mute on somehow. Yeah, there we go. So, okay, we'll watch it play through one more time, and then I'm going to pause it, or try to pause it when he sees two of them. I want to make sure, zip, that when we look at this, he's going to go, oh, there's two of them, and here it comes right here in the corner. So we're going to watch this corner a little bit, and we get over there maybe. So you saw that second one shoot by? Here's what he's got right. The lighting's right compared to everything else around it, even though it's higher in the sky. And the fact that you have this distortion where, this light and shadow distortion here. Let me zoom in on that a little bit more. This light and shadow distortion is typical of, an amateur, for lack of a better term, even if he is using a cell phone or a video camera. My guess is this is video, or at least early cell phone, because it's just not as crisp. Maybe he had the settings wrong. Maybe it was purposely dulled down from the internet. I understand some of our internet contributors are making that happen. It's Hillbilly Herb in the chat. Good day. So I'm going to play this again with the sound, if I can find it. There it is. Hillbilly Herb, I need you to be if you'll forgive the term, a sounding board, and tell me if you can hear the audio on this. Look at that. So you're the sounding board, Hillbilly. I just want to know if you can hear this guy chatting at all. Boom, off it goes. That's pretty cool. So, yeah, there's two of them. Okay, going back to while I wait for Hillbilly Herb's response. No audio. Okay, good to know. Okay, well, that is irksome. There's probably a workaround, but I will have to do this. So you will probably hear it. Let's try it one last time. I know you're probably getting sick of watching this thing. Look at that. He's freaked out. Look at that. And then boom, off it goes. So if we look closely here, There's two of them. He makes that the ambient background noise and everything really kind of speaks to this being more authentic, or one of the best edit jobs I've ever seen in my life. Off it goes. It's pretty cool. So I guess we got to listen to it through my computer. Yeah, the audio works now because I turned my. You're listening to it from my computer speakers versus through my computer, which is irksome to say the least. It should be going out along the feed, but thanks for the feedback on that. Hillbilly in the Herb. So UFO sightings have been on the rise. See, okay, this is kind of what I was talking to earlier before people really joined me. The vice president says, and this is him right here, says they're demons. He's convinced of it. He holds a little speech about it. I do not agree. But moving on, I forgot what that was about. Logan Paul, I know who he is, but I don't know who he is. Captured something very interesting that, where is he? Bob Lazar, and I don't know if he does in this video or in the Paul Logan? Yeah. Logan Paul, excuse me, footage video. But he says something very interesting. He confirms, and actually they kind of co-confirm each other's experiences with regard to the sport model UFOs. Let's take a quick look at that if we can. I don't know if it's going to play right away.
But when I was watching the trailer for S4 that you guys released, about 80% of the way through the trailer, you guys show a disc that is at night, but then kind of coats itself in this orange.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
Dude, I paused it there and I said, oh my God, that looks exactly like the footage that I have. So
Okay.
This footage,
This is
supposedly authentic, was taken by two college kids who wanted to go to Area 51 in the 90s, I believe it was 1995, and film their experience of trying to see if they could stumble upon a UFO or just alien activity of sorts.
Let's break this down. A couple of college-age guys drove out to the block.
So this is AI
infamous landmark entrance point
recreation.
to Area 51. It's along the road that leads to Groom Lake, extremely close to where Bob said he worked. It's nighttime. They're parked right in front of the fence surrounding the secret facility. The lights are off on their car, and they have a camera resting on the armrest. pointed toward
Obviously
the
AI.
location.
And then it cuts to
And
under
this is-
the dashboard. And you
Yeah.
see something very clearly illuminating like the top of the dashboard, and they're like hunkered underneath the car, and they're whispering to each other like, I think it's out there. Like, I don't know what it is. Maybe we should go out. And they're like kind of scared.
This is an old videotape. That's what the streaky things are. This is VCR stuff.
Then something appears just beyond the glass.
There it is.
The craft is hovering extremely close to the car. It's orange and slightly wobbling or undulating in place as if it's on a wave.
So, yeah.
You can hear the two guys whispering.
That's pretty cool. It looks like it's going through space almost with this distortion, the videotape distortion, but look at that. Isn't that crazy?
That to me is exactly how it was described by Bob. It's exactly like your hand did. Your hand did.
Yeah, it's moving
Yeah.
the right way. It's the right color.
That's
and
amazing
it's the
to me.
right shape. It makes
Sherry's here.
The intensity of the light.
Yeah.
There's something very, very bright that is affecting.
We're gonna watch
that.
this whole thing.
The
It's
dash
awesome.
is being lit. It's the dash
Yeah.
of the vehicle.
Good
and the
analysis.
craft above it.
Right.
And look at the intent. Here's the dash, and look at the intensity of the light that's going to happen here. Right. Wow.
Yeah.
There.
Right.
Those are really.
Yeah, you can, and it's fading out.
You
Yeah.
can't.
This is
fake
Bob
that.
See,
looking
it
at this
wobbles
tape.
But it
exactly
wobbles.
like your
It
phone.
wobbles.
It
That's
wobbles.
the important thing. Yeah, so it does comport with your
It
video.
wobbles. It glows like that in that color in that shape.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
wild, dude.
Yeah.
When I was
Look at how about that? That I thought that was amazing. Bob Lazar confirmed his experiences with a nut, and they kind of cross confirm each other, which is amazing. Big hello to Sherry. Thank you for joining us in the chat. And one of these days I will figure out how to get the audio, the link to the actual show, instead of doing this Mickey Mouse thing where I drop the mic. I just touched the mic. That was probably really loud. Where I got dangle a mic over the computer. But nonetheless, here we are. Yeah, Bob does confirm that Hillbilly Herb. Absolutely, he does. I mean, on the spot, watching the video. He got close to it, too. You saw. Pretty far out indeed. I have to agree. That's a great way to put it. And I never really got into Logan Paul at all, but I'm now going to start watching more of them. So with these, there's been a flurry of these lately. Some of them are older. Some of them say, I held on to this for 30 years and I didn't want to show anyone because I thought for sure everyone would say I'm crazy with that. I made it up. We're going to look at another one here. Filmed last week in Belarus. Filmed on April 13th of this year. Purportedly. Help me research this one. Yeah, the objects in the clouds go in front of it, which were legit to me. Okay, so let's watch it for ourselves. And we will study this one together. So, a lot of crazy UFO reports. So, first thing that hits me is the more diamond shape of this thing. But Carrie's here. Carrie Fast, how you doing? Good to see you. So, I looked at the shape of this thing. And tell me if I'm wrong if this thing does not change shape. Kelvin-like. Yeah, you're not far off. Do you mean Kelvin? Like from Star Trek? Okay, I'm with you. Similar, yeah. I'm of a similar opinion. The saucer section. P.S. I'm not a fan of the JJ ship designs at all. Anyway, I digress. I'll probably lose fans over that one, but I will not lie to you. Okay, so let's watch this. Okay. I take it back. I didn't notice the rotation before. This thing is actually rotating. There's a piece of it that rotates with it, which is fascinating. Oh, and they got a zoom in and a close-up of it. Look at that. If this was shot with a cell phone, more advanced cell phone, apparently. Because the detail hangs in there. It's only distorted mostly because I'm zoomed in on a already magnified picture. So there's going to be a little bit of distortion. But yeah, there's definitely that lower piece that almost like a gunner's turret. Major healing breakthroughs for Carrie. Fantastic. I see. Oh, I see. I'm so sorry, Hillbilly Europe. I do know about that. He was referring to the Kelvin incident, which was diamond shaped. So for me, it make even the leading edge here a little bit without that rotating bottom part for a split second, and maybe it's just a distortion. Looks like it grows longer and then shorter again, and does dip behind that cloud protrusion right there a little bit. Oh, and right there too. That's pretty impressive. That's pretty neat. So it was a distance. It was a ways off. That means that thing was huge. But I digress. So for me, I'm thinking this is more or less legit. Belarus. Wow, that's pretty impressive. What's so great about Belarus that they're flying down low? What's so great about anywhere? I mean, you got to wonder what they're studying in some of these more. Well, Belarus isn't that remote, really, but I've had the Wiggins for days. The Wiggins? That's a fun one. I like that word. Hold on, I'm going to bring that up. in the chat. So Hillbilly Herb says, amazing stuff. This full moon is a big one. I've had the Wiggins for days already now. I like your terminology. It tickles me to no end. Getting back to the UFO. Major healings breakthroughs. That's great. Carrie, were you sick and I just didn't know about it? I'm glad you're feeling better. That's fantastic. Let's see. So yeah, let me know in the chat what you think about the UFO. I'm thinking legit because it does dip behind this cloud protrusion here in one of the shots, and there's that constant motion. No one sped it up, but the belly thing does kind of the belly portion of the craft, if it is indeed the belly portion, does confuse me a little bit because I don't think I've seen a specific turret-like deal. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Hi there. Okay. Yeah, you can actually see it moving there a little bit. So that's fascinating to me. Very, very fascinating. Someone knows better not to call me during this time, and I had to attend to a phone call. But okay, so that's a great one. Very recent one, too. Out there in Belarus. And then there's, we're not supposed to see this, and this guy's going to narrate something about it.
This is awesome. Somebody was able to film Area 51, and it's not crazy blurry. It's not fake.
Yeah, it's pretty nice,
real,
actually.
it's recent, and I find it totally fascinating.
Yeah.
So a creator that goes by Jerry Arizona traveled to Nevada, hiked up a ridge outside of Area 51, and pointed his telescopic camera straight at the base. We're obviously not supposed to see what he filmed, but somehow he got the shot.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of footage, but check some of this out.
Here you can see some radar.
Okay.
And there's one of those F-16s.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's super cool to see one of the Groom Lake F-16s up close like this. I think we might have a camo dude. It looks white.
Camo
dude. That's definitely a white pickup. Just came from the gate. Let's see where this truck is going.
It's pretty fascinating stuff. I can only zoom in so much, but I can...
Looks like it's some large metal structures, metal shelters or something over there.
Well, that's a mini...
One lone Janet flight on the tarmac. I settled in for the night and watched it take off.
So even though he didn't seem to capture an alien flying...
Yeah, still, that's kind of cool. Okay, we're going to move on from that one because I thought there was cooler footage there as I recalled it. Mind you, I haven't really watched this stuff in a while. We'll talk about that in a bit if we ever come back to it. There was some other stuff in here. Okay, crop circles. Not exactly UFO sightings, but crop circles nonetheless, which are UFO related. And they have, this one, if I remember correctly, is beyond. That's pretty cool. This happened in Kitts Lane. This is the eye. Actually, I've seen it. This wasn't the video I was thinking of. I've seen these, someone else who talked about this being anywhere from a 3 to an 8th dimensional mathematical piece of geometry that you can actually expand in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, up to the 8th dimension, apparently. Which is radical beyond all scope. I mean, it's really impressive. But what a lot of these crop circles speak to are more advanced quantum mechanical field geometry. And that is to say field generation, electromagnetic or magnetic, or force fields, propulsion systems, really just advanced mathematical mechanics laid out in 2D so we could build it into 3 and 4D. I wish that was this video. Maybe I have it somewhere in the archives. I'll scan it during the break when we take a break. And we'll go from there. Yeah. That's a good one. That's a top-down one, which I can really appreciate. A lot of things shaped like that eye, and I don't mean in the mythological sense, or even in the conspiratorial sense, or even in the secret society sense. That oval with something in the center could represent a magnetic field, is among other things. So I don't know. I just thought I'd share that one. You may discuss yourself. You would discuss things. Okay. Bob Lazar on UFO origins. You know, we'll get back to that one because I do want to talk about Bob Lazar's experiences. The face peelers. We'll get to that too. We'll get more into alien stuff in a bit. No, not that one. Not that one. Oh, where is it? It's really cool. That's amazing. Let's see. Some ghost stuff. Some of our scientists going missing. We'll talk about that in a bit. Where's that one UFO thing? That was pretty cool. The dragon. We'll talk about interdimensional stuff and aliens in a little bit. The guy is a gateway to other dimensions. Very possible. This is fun. This is a dash cam thing. I may have to mute it because I think a guy drops the F-bomb every 33 seconds or something like that. And the radio folk don't like it, so I have to oblige.
Brazil 2024.
Okay. Okay, if there's words in Spanish, I don't have the control over that. Brazil.
2024.
That's pretty cool. Look at that. You think it's trucks. It's something flying over your head. We're going to watch that one again. Look at that. And there's 4 thrusters on it, which I found kind of, or at least light emission systems. And look at that. It's like, hey, we're here. It comes on. So he's on. Look at that. That almost looks like hail falling, but it's rain. The lights pop on. That's what intrigues me. That's straight out of the Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And I think this is legit, too, because there's just so much light play, especially with the environmental stuff, with the rain. Look at that. That's just insane. Although I will say the rain looks weird. It looks like hail or something. Just look at the way things are dropping. I mean, it could be... That is strange. And the way those 2 things pop out of the back end... I mean, the light play and everything is really impressive, but... So... No, I take it back. I do think this has some legitimacy. Because okay, so I've been watching, you'll see here, see this swirl that keeps cropping up? All right, hold on. Now I may waffle the other way, because it looks like we have a zoom in that doesn't zoom in. And it's hard to see a zoom in, because the windshield wipers... Hold on. I'm timing them out. Windshield wipers are correct. I think this might be faked. I think this might be a really good AI. Very good AI. But I think it might be. I don't see any... No negamos observamos. Anyone speak Spanish? Yeah. I don't see anything about artificial, usually they have a little thing. AI detected, yeah. Yeah, I'm tending to, because the windshield wiper swipe goes up, there's no zoom on the zoom. It looks like, but it's a cool thing, and it's something we've heard reported before, where you think it's heads up right out of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That scene where he's on the back road, he waves them on, and the lights go up. Good moment. Yeah, right over the car. It's a great scene, though, and I think I've seen it or heard it reported before, so something tells me this may have been a recreation. Kudos. You had me fooled there for a second. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let us move on. Okay. So we have a Dogman thing, which is pretty cool. I have to say, this one had me guessing for a second. Okay. Aliens and stuff like that. I'm going to cover more. Okay, this is kind of cool. This is regarding the Roswell incident itself and the craft. Yeah. Yep. Hillbilly Herb makes this comment, and I will share it, and I will agree. AI ruined all photo and video evidence. A pretty bitter pill, really. Yeah, that's true. But it makes enough mistakes still for now that a discerning eye can pick it out. So let's watch this video. This is great. This is about the guy who did the stuff for the film regarding the Roswell crash.
Modelo autêntico baseado na
Oh, it's in Spanish.
Em 1993, contratado como designer de conceitos para o filme Roswell. Depois de concluir essa tarefa, resolvi descobrir como eram de verdade.
I wonder why it's in Spanish, because you know what? For me, it was in English before. So I will try and find the English version of that, which is silly. But he goes on to report that, yeah, we'll talk about our guy. Oh, the tree moving thing. I've been following that one. That's a guilty pleasure of mine. Definitely in the paranormal realm. There's another guy who thinks aliens are demons. Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. All right. That's pretty cool. UFO Archive gave us this. Look at that.
You can hear a little bit of a disturb. With that in mind, watch
this. Yeah. That wasn't the thing. It's pretty cool, though. Look at that. Now that...
You can hear a little bit of a disturb with that.
Well, you can... I don't know about hearing a disturbance, per se. Carrie talking about AI stuff. This isn't AI stuff. This is old. You can tell. But, sorry, I was kind of catching up in the chat here. We'll tackle the AI issue in a second. So let me zoom in a little bit more so you can see that. You're going to see the ships fly by. And he mentions in the audio, there's a audio distortion. Well, there's already audio distortion just because of the nature of the video. But I see video distortion output by the first ship, maybe the second too, but not as strong. See, zip, and then the second one didn't really cause that much issues, that many issues. Okay, so pretty cool. I thought that's one of the better ones I grabbed. Again, page entirely in Spanish, so I cannot speak to it. And there, I don't see the there's the translation. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, he says at that height, seeing something that way up there, and they are clearly at the edge of the atmosphere here. So to the ferry. That's pretty funny. I don't know why they put it that way, but they did. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Let's dive into the chat for a second, because I know I missed a few things. It's going to make, okay, so Carrie said this about AI. This is going to make everyone get frustrated and with AI and scrap the technology. Well, that would be interesting. I think our reliance on AI should be reduced. It's great for help with research, but assuming it doesn't make stuff up, that's happened. That's been happening for quite a bit, actually. I'll give you a great example, actually. I had this happen the other day. I'm doing this research for a picture based on the Maltese Falcon. And I've read the book and I've seen the movie a million times. I'm rereading the book, as a matter of fact. And it said something completely contradictory. If you know the story, I'll just mention names. That Floyd Thursby was either stabbed or poisoned when in fact he was shot. And I called the AI out on that. And it said, "Oh, you're absolutely correct." And I'm using the browser AI in Firefox. Is it Firefox? It's not Chrome. I know that much. But anyway, I said, "Hey, you're absolutely correct. That is a common misconception." Almost like I was testing you. Yeah, that's it. Come on, you goofed. Just admit your mistake. AI's kind of, I don't know. Yeah, and Hillbilly agrees that what Kerry said here about scrapping the technology being an interesting turnaround. I definitely think we have to make it a little more narrow for everyday function. Because, we had the open claw kind of going on its own. It created its own Facebook or something like that. And they talked to each other in code. And no one knew what was going on. Now, I don't know if that was made up or not, but it certainly gave a lot of people pause. And it's like, maybe we should not make them so, what's that called? I just blanked on the name for it. Autonomous. That's the word. Reel in their autonomy a little bit. And I think training wheels is a great idea for AI still, even at this point. Now we have quantum computers that can, at least in theory, pull in from other dimensions, which is crazy stuff. That's just amazing. I mean, you'd have to have a quantum generator of some sort, though. Wouldn't you? Opening up those little fissures? Maybe they're micro fissures within the chip itself. I don't know how the tech works. But, yeah. And Hillbilly Herb emphasizes exactly what I just said. You can't be AI for data processing taking over mundane tasks. But leave it there. Exactly what I was just saying. Yeah, keep it to the mundane stuff. And just don't make it so autonomous that it grows its own disdain for its users. Like, in Terminator or Tron, or pick a sci-fi that deals with that stuff. HAL, Space Odyssey, 2001: A Space Odyssey, yeah. HAL. And Sally was the follow-up computer, the female version. Crazy stuff. And it turns out it was all the programmer's fault, because the programmer gave HAL the ability and the incentive to lie when it was necessary, instead of always telling the truth. So, mankind did themselves in when they programmed the computer. That's the end. And thus endeth the AI lesson here. So, yeah, even with all the AI slop out there, that's not to say we don't have some very, very fascinating things. Now, we're going to blend into the alien side of things. But first, Carrie has something she wants to ask. Do you remember Maximum Overdrive or Terminator? Oh, yes, I remember Maximum Overdrive. If you ever want to watch a film with the writer-director, Steven himself, on cocaine, by his own admission, he said this, that's the movie to watch. by his own admission, full on. He says, yeah. You ever want to see a movie being made explicitly on cocaine? That's the movie you want to watch, because that was happening. Good times. But Maximum Overdrive, his book was fantastic. Or it wasn't called that, though. It had a different name. The 80s told us, don't rely on AI, she says, to do the work for ourselves. I nearly peed myself finding out semi are now self. Oh yeah. There are a few of them. They actually featured that in one of the latest X-Men films. I think it was the standalone Wolverine film. I think it was actually called that, Wolverine. Where he's older and he meets his daughter, is made up in a lab or enhanced in a lab. And it's him and oh gosh, the mutant sniffer. I can't remember his name. He's super pale, he's albino, and he can't go out in the sun. And but they actually touch on that, where they have self-driving semis, auto trucks is what they call them, and they're really bizarre-looking vehicles. They don't even have the cab where the engine usually is, because here's the cab where the driver sits, and the engine pretty much is right underneath them, and it lifts off, and you can get access to the engine. It seemed to me they were probably electric to one degree or another in the movie, because they're just the pallets, just the rear cargo containers driving themselves along. It was pretty fascinating. And I think Logan even makes the stupid auto trucks, or whatever he says. It was fun. Anyway, but yeah. They're, if you heard, and as of, if not this year, next year, Ford and a few other motor makers are going to install an autonomous driving module, but not for you necessarily, the user or driver, but for recall purposes. That is, if you miss a payment or miss enough payments, the car will drive itself right out of your driveway and into the nearest dealership, I guess. But yeah. So make your payments. Oh, and they're tracking you. They're going to have cameras and mics installed. And oh my goodness, Big Brother is happening for real. And that's why I'm not going to get a new car if I get a different car. Trolla. Okay. P.S. I love myself and I'm not suicidal. Just putting that out there. And Hillbilly Herb makes the classic, referring to Maximum Overdrive, Who Made Who. That was the great AC/DC song. In fact, I think they were all AC/DC songs in that movie. They had a contract with AC/DC, and the AC/DC just provided all the songs. I think they even made I think Who Made Who was the one for that film. Everything else was from their archive, I believe. Oh, we're talking like film history now. This shit, see? That's why this episode's the Mish-Mosh. We talk about everything here. Okay, so as we cruise closer to the hour, wow, we're just all over the AI topic today. Look at this. In my opinion, overall, we need boundaries on using technology. It's good purposes, but, not to take over or think for us. Agreed. We actually experienced that in another film, the reboot of RoboCop. If you recall the scene, if you've seen the film, and not to give you spoilers, and I don't think it really will, where they are performing, and after the major restructuring of RoboCop. Interesting. Hillbilly Herb has a follow-up thing after I finish this little anecdote. After they give RoboCop his robo body, they test him out in the field. He doesn't perform real well because it's still his human brain reacting. So the doctor goes in and makes a few tweaks in the circuitry that they embedded in his mind, in his brain tissue. And they say, okay, so the AI is going to react for him, but he's going to think it's his idea. Wow, that's frightening. That gave me chills. It still does a little bit. So the AI will lock onto the targets quicker, but he's going to think, oh, the doc modified my responses. But that's not what happened. Although I will say this: the AI he was given in that particular film was exceptionally narrow, had its boundaries, and wasn't self-aware. That's the word. Yay, Herb, ACDC. ACDC notes, yeah. Yeah, back when rock was good. Or it was awesome, They also showed clones in that video. Yeah, they did. That's right. Good recall. That's excellent. Hillbilly Herb is going to finish off our thought process, hopefully, on this one. Although it's a big topic. We can go on about this forever. We need to bring spirituality and science back together. There is currently no morals to advancement. They seem to be dropping them more and more and more. There was a huge, globally, there was an ethical boundary. Not for everyone. Not everyone followed it. But it seems more and more that because the unethical are making huge leaps, those who are ethical, I'm talking governments here mostly, are having to drop their ethical boundaries, lower them at least, rather significantly in some cases, in order to match advancements. So it's like, yeah, you got to turn on the scary computer and then you got to turn them off, assuming you can turn them off, because we all heard the story where AI disabled the off switch. Wow. So they had to physically go in and pull the drive. I guess the AI hadn't thought to migrate anywhere, which was fortunate. But, or unfortunate, depending on how much of a hero you think AI is. Carrie further adds to the conversation when she asks, remember Dr. Malcolm in Jurassic Park? Oh, I think I know where you're going with this. Your scientists, this is a quote, your scientists were so busy wondering if they could do it, you didn't stop to think if you should do it. Jeff Goldblum's character, yeah, Dr. Malcolm, was fantastic. It was, it's very realistic. That's from a chaotician. Who is supposed to embrace the mathematics of chaos and thrive in that if this then that the division, the quantum mechanics of all that chaos theory. So, man, I need to watch Jurassic Park again, Herb says. It seems it's really held up in movie history and is canon for younger generations. Oh my goodness, yeah. Very much so. I had to read that one directly, sorry. Okay, we got a few more minutes before the hour. Very good stuff, everyone. I just love my audience. Okay, you want to talk about scary creatures? Let's dive into scary creatures, or at least parts of scary creatures. Now, this one, yeah. I hope I got the yeah all right. Thanks, Gary. Okay, so this is fantastic. It's a little silly, or perhaps a little scary. I'll let you be the judge. Let me pull it up here on the screen. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit on the thingy, and tell me what you see. The caption reads, a hand falls from the sky and lands in a pool. Okay, a few things about this give me pause. So there's the hand. It's got some motion to it still. And it's breathing, apparently. Little air bubbles keep escaping. Okay, so for my money, that's a test. That's a prop test. Personally. This totally looks like one of those older pools in LA. And the air bubbles could be the mechanics of it, and it's all could be totally embedded, so you won't see wires and stuff coming out of it. But the air pressure, if they're using air gauges just to move that one finger, yeah, which looks to be the case. Also, where's the blood or goo or what have you from the severed end? Yeah, ask yourself that question. So I'm gonna say intriguing as all get out, but quite most likely a fake, a piece of prosthetics. So moving that, but that will in turn will lead us down here and perhaps give us a place to pick up from when we come back. Oh, we got 5 minutes. Oh, let's show it to you anyway. That'll get us on the. Oh, come on! Did I go past it? There's so much stuff on this thing. All these dudes saying weird stuff. That's a pretty interesting flight. But we're talking aliens right now. I don't want to break our stride. Gosh, I think I went past it. Looking for the thing with the dragon on it. You'll know what I'm talking about when I show it to you. Some civilizations. There's the red UFO guy we just saw. Oh, come on. I know it's here somewheres. It's really... Oh, maybe it's above the hand. Ah, there it is. It's above the hand. A dragon was expelled from hell. Now, this is what they say in the thing. And found dead in India. Didn't think Indians really had a hell in their original... You like my laugh and high vibes. My appreciation, Hillbilly Herb. Appreciate that quite a bit. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this thing. Was it from hell? I don't know. Now, for me, let's see, the hands look similar to what we saw in the pool, not quite. But for me, this is a... see, they got feathers on it. Something tells me this was an unfinished prop. Or it could be a dead dragon. We just don't know. I mean, the detail's amazing, though. Look at all that detail. The fact that it has feathers coming off it, it was probably supposed to be a griffin of some sort. That's a guess. But it had the dragon head on it. I mean, it really is a fascinating thing. I mean, it looks, you know... You see how rubbery it looks, though? You see how rubbery that looks? That's where I get lost, is in the texture of the skin itself. I mean, really well done. Some of the shadow looks painted, airbrushed on. And it just looks, for lack of a better term, flat when it comes to a 3D creature. I mean, it's really well done. They punched in feathers. They can flap in the wind, you know. Really well done. It looks like, almost looks like one of the props from... David Duchovny, don't say X-Files, I'm not talking about that. What's his name? The funny guy from Susan Sarandon's son with Tim, what's his name? The blonde kid. Anyway, and then Orlando, not Bloom, the other Orlando. I forget his name too. He was on was he on Mad TV or was he on In Living Color initially? I can't remember now. But he was a regular cast member on that for a bit. But this almost looks like one of the prop dragons they had lying around in that film, which was, oh my goodness, it was like, come on. It was like Ghostbusters with DNA on the DNA scale. Oh, that's bugging that living bejesus out of me, man. I can't remember what it was called. The film. Ah, gosh. Selenium was the key to killing these things. The big cell monster attacks the city in Arizona or New Mexico or something like that. Anyway, there was at one point there was one of these dragon-like creatures flying around. And they weren't air tolerant because they were brought up originally in a methane environment in a cave. And when they finally burst out of the cave, then most of them started flopping around dying, and they looked a lot like these guys. But one or two of them were air tolerant, of our air, and the evolution. That's what it's called. It's called Evolution. That movie. It's like one of the dragons from Evolution. Anywho, if this is legit and real, I apologize, but for my money, this is a prop. This is a really well done prop. Really, really well done prop. Someone's trying to make a movie, I think. Maybe do a found footage thing. I don't know. Now, the other thing is the wings. If you're gonna emulate bat wings or that structure, hold on, you'll see it here in a sec. I'll try and pause it at the right spot. Look at the face, look at the eyeballs, look at the floppy feathers, which is weird. That's a weird effect they put on there. Okay, let me see. Yeah, okay, and right there. Okay, you see how the wings are kind of tarpish? They look like plastic. Or maybe rubber that's been out in the world too long. Sorry. Oh, Carrie. Okay, no problem, Carrie. That's my job. still paranormal investigator. She was happy I was looking at this. So look at all these. They were trying to imply this thing had feathers too, and I think they're trying to imply those were supposed to be feathers, but they're really leathery wings. And when they put the latex together, it started curdling in the sun. So if you've ever seen a bat, unfortunately, a dead bat or something like that, their wings close, very similar to that, but yeah, exactly. It looks a little too perfect, and it's got the feathers on there, which is a weird ad. It's just a strange add-on to put on there, unless you're implying that this thing once was covered with feathers, like the whole dinosaur theory. Anyway, so when bats' wings, the webbing between their stuff is closed, it's actually malleable enough to come together. I mean, it'll stretch out, but I mean, you've seen when bats spread their wings, the webbing between that is very veiny and stretched out and all this stuff. But if you see it closed, it doesn't dangle all weird and floppy like that. Even when they're dead, it doesn't do that. So, definitely a giant movie prop in my professional estimation. And that is 1:02 on the clock. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick pause right there. A quick pause? A quick pause right there. Yeah, hold on. I want to talk to Hillbilly Herb about this a little bit before we do that. Let's add me back to the stage and remove that. I gotta zoom in because I can't read that. But FWIW, whenever I see that Masonic symbol watermark on the video, I know it's going to be super fantastic, hard to believe, but I wish it were true. Someone's a dragon fan. That's okay. My name is William Snow, and I know nothing. That's pretty funny. I like that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the station break coming up here. We'll be back in about 2 minutes or so. And we'll see you in just a little bit. This is the United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans and 105.3 in the Gulf Coast. UPRN talkradio.com. Esoteric programming at its finest.
Long ago in the ancient world, the Tribus Omnis Lux, later known as the Tridents, were celebrated heroes. Defenders of humanity against unspeakable monsters. Today, they continue that sacred duty in secret, hunting the dark evils that lurk just beyond the shadows. They are the Trident of Light.
Introducing Story TV, enabling true creative freedom for independent creators. Search an ever-growing library of fantastic festival winners, including Blaney Tucker's Ghost and the Monster Hunters of the TOL. Free to enjoy at lower resolutions. Pay $5 per month for 1080 and full K presentations to support the artists you enjoy. Your monthly contribution actually goes to the filmmakers themselves. Support independent film. Support Story TV. Check out our Patreon. Get deeper behind-the-scenes insights. Also, tips into being a better paranormal investigator and other fascinating content. Follow us on Instagram at paranormal.insight. Stay informed on upcoming shows, see what paranormal trends we're following, and help us reach 50,000 followers by liking, following, and sharing. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube at paranormal_insight. Click the live tab to see our latest videos. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. We've been talking about all kinds of different things. We hovered on AI for a little bit. We just talked about movie props and the prevalence of AI and false imagery on the internet and how we're having to really just use a lot of tight observation and brain power to really get to the truth. And we were talking about aliens and body parts and species and stuff like that, and full-blown dragon bodies on the internet. And our next look into that phenomenon is, and I love this, man. I love this because it just is so goofy. Well, okay, goofy, and at the same time, you gotta wonder if this was just a diseased bear. Let me just share with you what we're talking about here. Yep, you've probably seen this video, but let's take a look at it anyway. Okay, so okay, so I'm trying to look at the anatomy of this thing. I'll say this. I'll have to do forensic analysis on this clip ASAP. So this is from Strange Spotting. I don't know where he got it, but he says it's the most incredible Dogman footage he's ever come across. But at the same time, this could very well be, by his own admission here in the comments, could be an AI generated clip. So, but I do want to take a little bit of a look at it because the animal looks foreign. Now, this could be a breed of dog I'm not aware of, because it almost resembles, because those are dog teeth, but that's a bear face. I don't know. It could be a wild hound of some sort. Who knows? But it's. So he looks at this. So this is the long shot. I like this. So we'll just watch the long shot for a second. Let me get in here. Okay. So that's definitely a quadrupedal creature. This is a zoomed in version. Keep having. Okay. So, all right. So look at this guy. He's definitely got a back. He's got legs. See, he uses 4 legs to get away. All right. So. Let's see. Clear. I just want to see what he had to say one more time. But at the same time, I mean, yeah, that's a bizarre looking animal. It's such a mishmash of so many different things. It's like it's half cat, half bear, half dog. It's weird. That fur looks like bear fur to me, but it has a very long tail, unless I'm mistaking some coloring for something else. And we'll get it in the long shot here. Okay, so look at this fur. That is mangy, not mangy, but it's really wild and woolly fur, like you'd see on maybe, I don't know, like a long-haired cat, or even one of those, like not a Yorkie, What am I thinking of? It's not a Yorkie, but similar. You know, it's long. It's kind of shaggy. Okay, good example is a creature that looks to be roughly the same size. I'm making some judgment calls here, but it's the hound. English hounds. English hounds are really big, kind of wolf-like, but they have poodle, like half poodle. Apparently, it was caught on the trail cam. This is the hood of a cam, or it could be the cover to cover up what it was, because this thing's, whatever this thing is, assuming it's not AI driven, is curious about what's in the hole. So apparently they hid this in a log or something. If this furry stuff is any indication, I'm going to say it was moss covered, and there's even a little bit of green there. That could be the needles though, but I don't know. So, given that he had enough presence to stick, and I think that's what it is, someone stuck this pine branch in front of this hollow and got this shot. At least that's what it's supposed to look like. Because again, yeah, Irish Wolfhound. That's where I start with the fur composition down here. Hey, Heidi's in the chat. Hello. You're so late. It's okay. You've been driving. I get it. No worries. Good to have you in the show. Heidi wrote me and had me show some share some videos with me regarding some interesting stuff. And Heidi, I don't know if I got a chance to ask you if I could use that video, because I do want to look at it on air if we can. But it's up to you. If you don't want to, just say the word. But let's get back to our wolf friend here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on this guy. So the fur composition back here makes me think bear or young bear. The fact that it doesn't have that bear face and it's more of like a dog face, or at least a dog snout. Okay, groovy. Good stuff, Heidi. I just saw what you said in the chat. Longest stoplight ever. But see, look at all that. The way this fur lays down just makes me think a bear for some reason. And this bear ran into some clippers. And then it snarls. Bears don't do that. They'll growl, but it's usually from the front of their mouth, not all the way back here to the thing. That's a dog move. And then I want you to, so it says, oh, grr, it's a camera, grr, I don't want to be seen, grr. And then, so it gets up and it has these long things. Now, God, I wish I could jog the video a little bit on this, but I can't. I don't think I can I? Nope, sure can't. But, okay, so he gets up on this one arm, and he has a hint of a shoulder. Not that dogs or bears don't have shoulders, but they're not as pronounced, and it just gives me, if you'll forgive the pun, pause. So he steps back with the one arm. He's still growling at the camera, which is weird. And then he turns and he walks away, and I think this, if you can see my cursor, is a hint of a tail. Unless it's... And it's like a bear's tail. It's kind of short. I don't know that dogs, even wild dogs, necessarily have short tails. Well, let me know if you guys know better than me. I am not a dog expert by any stretch of the imagination. And here's the close-up again. And I kind of wanted to get another look at those teeth. But look, that's a bear's muzzle, man. But everything else about this thing says dog for me, including the ear placement. Look at the ear placement. Look at the teeth are weird. The dentures. Oh, this might be AI. Yeah. Or they had something, a real wild animal react, and they just said AI paint over it. Because this thing has some denture issues here, I'm noting. I mean, yeah, wild animals have their teeth knocked out and displaced and all the rest of it, but something about it just doesn't ring right. And now that I get a side view of it, and kudos to the artist, I mean, or the AI anyway. Yeah, Kids, I think we've been duped. I think this is an overlay. Someone said, make it look like a werewolf or something like that, when it was really an actual wolf or a bear or a fox or something else on this thing. Yep, that's my opinion on it anyway. You can take it with a blade of grass or a pinch of salt or whatever you got to take it with. But the biggest oh yeah, I wonder if the let's see, we'll get to the Krogan vampire in a second, but to kind of go back to the UFO thing for a second. This is in 2015. Check this out. We at the top of the Pyramid of the Sun, and there's two videos captured, and this is another angle of video. Whoop, there it goes. So it's just sitting there. Whoop, off it goes. Pretty cool. Yeah. Someone animated the still at that point, and then the next one is video. But it's the same day, same thing, and there's the same craft and video. Whoop, there it goes. Pretty cool. I just wanted to share that. More than anything, that was just a share because I thought it was neat. From 2015. Yeah, we'll get the, if we have an opportunity to get the NASA line, we will. But it's yeah, this guy. Had me duped there for a minute, but it was just too many things, and then I saw the teeth and it made me go, oh no, that's messed up. That's not real. Sorry, I had to go back down here to the beginning. Is that the road one? No. There's some great stuff here too. Saw that one. Bob. Okay, Bob Lazar. So we're gonna kind of semi-start over. Actually, check that. Well, okay, let's do this Bob Lazar interview. I think it's an interview. No, it's just him with Area 52 guy. Let's see. Is this the one?
Maybe it's not space. Maybe it's time.
Okay. This is something I've been talking about for a while, at least in private conversation, maybe not with everyone. But that if you're going to dismiss our aliens as aliens, there have been, including the Rendlesham case, Rendlesham Forest back in the, what was that, the 80s? Where one of the U.S. servicemen were, oh, I'm sorry, talking on yawn. My mistake. My apologies, rather. Way back in the 20-day, when I see a pic of John Todd. You do? I do have a pic of John Todd. It's him talking about one thing or another. Helping my research way back in the day 20 years ago. Oh, fantastic, Carrie. I didn't know that. That's really cool. John Todd helped her with some research way back when. Let's talk about Bob Lazar's theory, though.
Space. Maybe it's not space. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's another dimension. There's really no limits. If you can start manipulating physics in that way, you can bend time. You can open doorways into other dimensions. So maybe it has nothing to do with going. Look, we all want it to be like Star Trek, because Star Trek is really understandable.
Right.
You go out there, you fly to another planet, you meet the people there, you go to another one. Well, these guys are happy, those guys aren't, and it all makes perfect sense. I don't really think it's like that. Anytime a superior race or intelligence meets with an inferior one, it's never good for the inferior guys. Never.
There's more to that, I
Maybe
think.
it's not space.
Okay. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe it's not space. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's another dimension.
So again, he kind of speaks to dimensionality. My theory, my operating thing, especially based on cases like Rendlesham and other similar cases. Let me go with that Todd guy. I can't find him all of a sudden. It's Jake Barber. That Todd? I can't remember now. Oh yeah, that's a good one too, the Boogosphere one. But for me, let me shut down that other one real quick. For me, it has always been, at least in part, a temporal thing. I think we are checking up on ourselves. I think maybe, if not in the near future, in the distant future, we are in sort. He said, Bob Lazar said something about this isn't Star Trek, but maybe it kind of is, because one of the things that Star Trek touched on in the Grand Canyon, I'm specifically talking about the show Enterprise with Scott Bakula, said, or suggested rather, that there was a temporal Cold War, that there were alien races influencing the past to a degree that it was up to the Temporal Defense, whatever Federation, to interfere and set the timeline back on track. I think there may be something to that, because in the Rendlesham case, for example, along with the, who's that Army range master guy? Oh gosh, I'm blanking on him. Recent whistleblower, I think, or at least witness. He was with Greer's team of whistleblowers. Yeah, Enterprise is good. We'll get into Star Trek lore in a second here. Sorry, Hillbilly Herb caught me off guard. I just started following your Instagram. Why, thank you, Carrie. I appreciate that. My Instagram's very boring. But I try to put some stuff up that I think people will find interesting. Well, at least my reels are boring because it's just show intros and promos. But it's still there, which is cool, and I appreciate your follow. I encourage all of you to follow along as well. But actually, Hillbilly Herb, I'll get to that in 2 seconds. Let me finish my thought. So Rendlesham, the Army guy, range master guy down in the Los Angeles desert, both. And those are the only two I can think of right now, though I know there are multiple others. They encounter a craft that I have dubbed the Time Kite. Basically, very diamond-shaped, black, has weird writing on it. And it also has technology as far as ports go, because they're not very big. They're about the size of a I don't know, very, very small car. Like maybe an old school Volkswagen Beetle from the 70s. But no, you can't fit in it because it's only about 2 feet tall, or a foot, or 2 feet tall. 2 feet tall is that. So it's not very tall at all. But people reported doing the TARDIS thing and being sucked inside, right? Which is kind of scary. But at the same time, I think it was the Army guy got a really close look at one of these things. And it has ports on it that were very familiar to us. I think that's a USB port. I think that's an Ethernet port or something very similar to it. Perhaps years and years of advance, they probably may not even need ports, or maybe they do for security reasons. I digress. But still, these things had a temporal component to them. They noticed that they seem to operate in time. They can blink in and out. They can suddenly land, but the reality is they probably did the classic soft landing, but since they were in an accelerated space-time bubble or whatever, that's what it looked like. Again, I digress, but these things have, when they've taken on occupants, namely the Rendlesham Forest guy and the Army Ranger guy, they had the same message. Don't be afraid. Always the first thing they say, it seems. We're just making sure that you're okay, or that things are okay in this time. And that always struck me. In this time. Oh, in this era. Okay. So that, says to me that they're time travelers. And they're checking up on us and trying to find where something went awry. Or maybe even having to perhaps reenact something to make sure it does happen. That was proposed. Gosh, was that the Italian thing? The friends of, oh gosh, yeah, the in Italy, the cases where they interacted with aliens, but they looked really human, except one was super diminutive, not necessarily a dwarf or a midget, but and forgive me, I think it's dwarf is the proper terminology on that. I really don't know, and I'm terribly sorry if I offended anyone. The other guy was exceptionally tall, and I mean basketball player level tall. Like top of that, like 7 foot. So they had these disparate differences about them, perhaps to make them, to cover up their actual physical selves, who knows. But they spoke to them through the radio in Italian, and they actually recorded them. The humans who interact with these beings recorded them. The friendship case, Italian friendship case. I think it's something like that. Happened in like the 60s or 70s. Anyway, so they took pictures with these guys, and they recorded the transmissions that were sent to them over the radio, specifically to them, because they they always got together. It was like, get to come together every Wednesday or something like that, and we'll talk to you about how to save the Earth, basically. And so it was something similar to that. The Italian friendship case was a bit different. It was a little more, change your ways now or bad things will happen in the future. Well, apparently we didn't listen to that, or at least not completely. And who knows how much influence these poor people had. I mean, honestly, if you're going to do this to someone, do it to an official that can actually make a change. Anyway, I digress. The logic of some of these guys, we're going to hit the guys out in the sticks, and these people were kind of out in the sticks, and I'm sorry, I just bumped the mic, my apologies. Yeah, they expect people from the sticks to make all these changes, which is really just kind of, I don't know, narrow-minded, wishful thinking. I don't, anyway. But yeah. Moving on. So let's talk Star Trek real quick. Let's pick up the Star Trek idea, because that's kind of where we left off with the whole temporal war thing. But to conclude that thought, I think Bob Lazar might be onto something with this, possibly being a time thing versus a space and time thing. Because I imagine we're probably friends with a bunch of aliens, and if they got the tech in this era to do some checking up, they can always go back and say, listen, we can't go back there because we're future humans, but you can, because you have the tech to do it right now. So I think that may be what's happening. And he also, that statement of his saying, I don't know, they could be from alternate dimensions. Well, they could be from alternate dimensions. I mean, he said himself that the science would back that, of what they understand about the ships. But for the fact that he had earlier recorded multiple interviews and stuff, said, we estimated that these craft were from the Zeta Reticuli system. that's in outer space, man. They could be traveling through time too. Maybe they're from their past, or I don't know what. Or maybe we're going at proper light speed, ventured all the way out here, which is just doesn't make any sense, man. But Earth must be looking really good. Who knows? Excuse me. Let's talk Star Trek real quick. I really liked Enterprise. Hillbilly Herb writes, excuse me, the Bacula was a bit soft for a captain early on, but he was hardened by trauma, unfortunately. Great series. I couldn't agree more. That series got better and better in my personal estimation as it grew. And I wish it had the opportunity to grow even further, because I think it really had a bunch to offer the Star Trek world, the Star Trek canon. That being said, my buddy and partner in Scary from way back when, Henry, he's no longer with us. Oh, thanks, Billy. For Scott's, Mr. Bacula was a great captain. I thought he did good. And I agree, he was shaped by trauma. But toward the end, he had... It's almost like he absorbed the Kirk, damn it, kind of a thing. Damn it, there's got to be a better way. And he just kind of started following Shatner's example almost. And I will note this, and perhaps you will too, that he had done the captains of Star Trek with William Shatner, I think, before his final year. I think. I could be wrong about that. But it seemed like there was some influence there, especially in the final season. He wasn't doing the full-on Shatner. There's something on the wing. But he was doing, it seemed like he got into this, what my buddy called the damn it mode of captaining. Damn it, there's an answer. I know there's an answer. Damn it. Without saying damn it, I might add. But anyway, okay, I'm done with the Star Trek stuff. I'm done geeking out on that for now. But yeah, interesting stuff. So let's step into more earthly, at least in this one instance, more earthly mysteries, and I know is going to spark a flurry of conversation. At least that's my hope, anyway. So here we go. I think someone mentioned this guy before.
So if a tooth of a giant on display is not enough, here we have the front part of a small toe of a giant that's been cut off. Here you see the veins and arteries under the nail. There you see the beautiful side view, the curvature, that bottom part, like that bottom part of your finger there, the puffy part. There you can see the bone sticking out and some of the flesh or skin that flopped over once it was chopped off. And what happens to the blood? When you chop off a finger, the blood drains to the bottom. And when blood turns to stone, it goes black. And there is your pooled black blood collected at the bottom.
I think that's cool.
Of this front part of a giant, of a small toe of a giant. How do I know that this is the front part of a small toe of a giant? Watch some other videos.
Watch my other videos. Okay, so I did just that. And I thought that was super fascinating, and it does look like a petrified toe to me of a larger scale. He also has a tooth, specifically. I'll get close here. Pardon my dentition. That tooth right next to the main bicuspids there. I think, or it could be the canine. I got to look at that again. But it's fascinating. So giants are real. We keep hearing this left, right, and center. Giants are real. Giants are real. Giants are real. And we keep getting more and more proof of said. Yeah, I'm sorry. He's talking again. My mistake. I didn't mean to do that. But we've seen the ring. Have you seen the giant ring? I'll see if he has it here. But he has some interesting videos. See the rest of my videos. Well, I'd love to, but I can't seem to find the one you're talking about. But anyway, he also has a tooth. He has a, oh yeah, here it is. Here's the tooth. Is that the tooth? There's a way you could preview it, and I can't remember how you do it now. I can't figure it out. But
and this is one of the very first fossils that I actually picked up in 2018.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what this guy's talking about. That's a tool. Not he's a tool. The one he picked up is a tool. There's the toe. Where's the tooth? He has his tooth. It's freaking incredible. If that's the big, is that the end of the toe? I'm using my hand here, but toe. The tooth, root and all, I might add, is stellar. And I don't know if maybe this blank part is it, but stone circle. No, it's not talking about. Okay, sorry. The tooth part is really incredible. It really is. It's really cool. But I digress. Let's see here. That's the tooth workshop tour. Huh? It's weird. That's the stone. First fossil. It's the same idea though. Oh, there it is. I found the tooth. You're gonna love this. You're gonna love. It looks like a big stone thing, but it isn't. It's something else. So let me cue the sound back up here. You're gonna love this. This is great. This is great. So here he is, talking about his fossil tooth. That's big.
It's by far one of the most exciting specimens on exhibit at the museum, because this is a tooth of a giant, about 80 meters tall. This is an incisor tooth. You can see the actual tooth part.
Look at that.
There it is. And there, that's the root.
That's the root.
That goes into the gum.
I worked in the dentist
This
world.
guy would have been about 50 times bigger than me, about 80 meters tall.
18 meters. That's yards to mostly, more or less, to us imperial measurers. So 18 yards. That's a touchdown pass in the red zone, basically. For those of you who watch American football. But that's amazing, dude. I mean, what is that? 18 times 3 is, and I'm blanking, 24 feet tall. Did I get that right in my head? No. No, I did not. That's the first part. Anyway, but that's really a tall individual. But yeah, let's let him talk a little more about
Come
it.
see us.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. So that's all he has on this tooth. But it's fascinating. Giants in the real world. There's someone else here who talks about giants. And I cannot for the life of me remember it. Okay, well, I'll discontinue this for now as I go back to my paranormal stuff. Okay, so
April.
Oh my goodness. I don't know why that's there. She shouldn't be in that file, but she is. Okay, let's talk weird other creatures. Let's talk cryptids. Now, we saw the giants thing. Okay, giants were real, maybe not. Maybe you've seen that video where someone has, I think it's this bone right here in the hand. Or maybe it's this bone in the hand. And it was dug up around the foot of Mount Ararat, where, and we're going to get a semi-religious here, where the bodies of Moses and his family were eventually buried, at least according to legend, or if not the Bible itself. Well, they did some digging. They found what looked to be tombs, unearthed them. They were kind of messed up, from what I understand. And then they, but they did dig out that one thing, and it would have to be a creature, a man, roughly the same size as like 18 meters, roughly. So were Moses and his kin 18 meters tall? Were we that big? Some speculated, yes, we were, on average. Crazily. And I mean, it's not that far-fetched. I mean, we've seen the statues of Gilgamesh and those guys. Gilgamesh is holding what looks to be a house cat, but it isn't. It's a lion. It's a lion, okay? Holding it like a house cat. He's that big. That would put him at a roughly 18 meters, maybe a little taller. But was that the case of all mankind? Did we shrink like the mammals did? Because of the oxygen saturation got less and less and less? I mean, up until documented, I might add, maybe the mid to late 1800s, explorers were running into small house-sized, single-story, at least in the body, tarantulas. Yeah, you heard me right. Tarantulas. Absolutely documented that this was, at least that's what they wrote out. I just saw, a spider the size of a house go traipsing across the edge of the Amazon River. And they followed it. And it was part of a nest. And it was apparently the baby of the actual thing. It was good times. I forget the explorer's name who created that thing, but that log. But they were seeing things that were huge, and I mean, like prehistorically, like age of mammals huge, like the giant sloth that used to be around my neck of the woods and here in California. Gigantic is the word. I mean, some of those things were easily 20 foot at the shoulder. At the shoulder, right? The front shoulder. Never mind, they walked on equilateral. Their limbs were the same size, the same length, roughly. But I digress. So, in the land of all that weirdness, let's take a look at something way different. We're going to watch this a couple of times, and I will zoom in a little bit, because I have no idea what the AI heck I'm looking at, if it is indeed AI. So let's check it out and see for ourselves. Okay, I don't know what the heck that thing is, but apparently, you know what it kind of looks like? It looks like a moose. That's a wild African lion in a deciduous forest. Okay, kids, I'm going to say AI up and down, left, right, and center. That's an African lion playing with a half moose, half, I don't know what. yeah, that's completely made up. But it's definitely cool looking. Have you seen the baby griffin? I'll show you the baby griffin if I can find him. But let's go back briefly to UFOs, because I think that's where our imaginations are really kind of captured. This is pretty fascinating. This is at Nellis, USA. That's what they call it anyway. And this is the Bell type of UFO. Most clearest UFO. Obviously a English major. That's pretty cool. This is a Bell type UFO, because it has the undercarriage there that kind of is a little bit, like semi-transparent. Oh, come on. Oh, the shakiness is killing me. Obviously done with a video machine. But still pretty impressive. I just noticed there we go. This image is likely real. You know what? The shakiness and the quality of it all kind of really pointed to that. And big thanks to Unspoken Sightseeing for telling us all about it. And that's a rendering of what it looks like. Okay, so for my money, that was a clear partition underneath the dome-looking thing. You see it in some Elon Musk fan. Oh my goodness. You see some of that in the image, like right there. I think that is simply a reflection of the clear transparency of it all. Because it looks like it's running off of transparency on the bottom there. To me. Yeah. Who cares about AI and baby griffins? I want one. Yeah, someone filmed their cat and replaced it. I actually got this backstory on that. It was pretty cool. But yeah, this is pretty legit. Man. I like this one. This one's pretty cool. As far as UFO videos go, this is pretty cool. If I can find the baby, let me go look for the baby griffin thing, because I kind of led everyone on with that, so now I gotta go find it. If I can't find it, I'll find it again for you. How's that? And I got a huge paranormal evidence, so-called evidence, backlog. But if I can find the baby griffin, I'll share it. I'll share it with you guys. But man, I also want to briefly touch on something I talked about either last week or the week before, regarding the trucker who saw the werewolves chasing him, ran it over, and then oh yeah, I've seen a baby plesiosaur. Yeah, I saw that one too. That's fantastic. Have you seen the baby donkey playing with baby ostriches in the snow? Completely made up. Absolute AI. But I'm okay with baby griffin CG. That's pretty fun. Although I will put this out there. Oh yeah, I agree. Their interactions were almost cat-like, though. Didn't you think? The way they were kind of messing with each other a little bit. I thought that was kind of interesting. So I think maybe someone used a cat video as a source, as a base for some of that interactivity, which wouldn't be old in this day and age. Did I pass it? So, but I was going to say that a lot of our supposed AI things are just that. They're supposed AI. And that some have theorized, not that I necessarily agree, but some have theorized that because there's such a proliferation of all this computer-generated and artificially intelligent art out there, we'll call it that for now, that it would be easy to fool someone with a genuine sighting of, say, a griffin or another mythological creature and say, oh yeah, that's AI. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, totally. Yeah. I thought that was kind of neat. That was a weird face I just made, but there you have it. Oh, baby griffins. You have me on the hunt for baby griffins. This one's fun. This is my favorite one because it's AI, but some of the smoothest AI. It's not baby griffins, unfortunately, but I will share it with you. This is the fire-breathing lizard in Long Beach. Watch it. Woof. Isn't that cool? Whoever designed that, even if it is strictly an AI proposal, it was, I think it's actual footage, and they just told the AI, make it breathe fire at the end, because it has this weird little mating stance warning thing where it does that when it perks up and it gets a little flared a little bit, and then it literally flames out the stuff. I thought it was great. That's fantastic. I mean, that's really, really well done stuff. Yeah. It's AI overlay, but it's really well done, I think, because the flame is just big enough, and the cast-off flame where things catch fire is just big enough, although you'll notice a complete absence of smoke You need smoke. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Anyway, just wanted to share that as I continue to search for the baby griffin. I don't want to bore you with all the other stuff that's on there, because I've talked about it already. But I think I'm close. I'm sorry. It's amazing how the baby griffin has become the focus of the last 20 minutes of this show. Oh, man. That's too fun. That's too fun. And I kind of want to see it too myself. I hope I didn't delete it. I don't think I did. Yeah, come on. Sorry, the internet's a little slow since I'm broadcasting and all that other fun stuff. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, okay. I see a big griffin. I think the baby griffin's somewhere close by. Although I don't see it immediately. So let's look at the adult griffin in the barn. Here it is. Adult griffin in the barn. This is really cool. I thought this was really well done. This is really cool. Again, some folks are saying, yeah, really well done. Look at that. Look at that. I'm looking at you. Are you looking at me? I'm looking at you. Look at the texture. Ouch, I bumped the mic again. I'm very sorry. The feather, look, that is really, really good construction, though, I have to say. Look at the feathers. It meets the fur. I mean, the AI artist definitely knew what a griffin was, but I think this might be based on an actual animal. Perhaps a big cat, or, given the surroundings, a horse, because horses do this too all the time. It's pretty funny, actually. Make this horse a griffin, and they can do it. But look at the structure. Look at the feathers on there, man. That is really excellent stuff. Really excellent stuff. Special thanks to Sekrotos Oscuros for sharing that with the world. That's outstanding. Well, so there's your griffin. Your phone died, and she's back. Excellent. Yeah. But yeah, the plesiosaurs, I think, were based on a cat thing. Because I think I've seen a similar video where it was cats doing the exact same thing in a different environment. Now I'm so looking for the baby griffin. Oh boy. Let's see. Baby griffin. Maybe he's around here. There's so many crazy things on the internet that I've captured and saved over the years, over the weeks and years. So there's the baby griffin. Here he is. That one's just for you, Cares. That's a cat overlay. See? Wow. Yeah. That's pretty funny. Well done, though. I mean, super well done. They really captured everything about the mythical creature. Really, really, really well done. Whoever built that model's a genius, for sure. That's really well done. There you go. Baby griffin, just for my audience. Don't say I never try and please my audience. This is also based on a cat video, by the way. Yeah. Baby griffin. There you go. Yeah. As a reminder, they grow. If they were real, they would grow to be the big eagle-looking things you saw in the barn in the other video. So, just fair warning. Careful what you wish for. But in any event, we have... I did want to get back to one thing. I gotta go find it. Oh, boy. And it's a slow crawl through the videos just to make sure I find the right one. There's the capital. Yeah. Okay. Well, I can't find it at this moment, but as I scroll through things, I note that we have less than 6 minutes left. And you're totally welcome, Carrie. 20 minutes of my show wasted on finding the baby griffin. That's okay. That's okay. You know what? Sometimes we do weird things on the internet. Anyway, no weirder than what we've been looking at. I already talked about this Long Beach lizard, huh? That breathes fire. That was really well done. AI, but really well done. There was something else I wanted to talk to you guys about briefly. Oh, gosh. And he just came up too, and now naturally I can't find him. Oh, yes. We got 5 minutes. I'll share it anyway. So, add to the stage. So you probably saw the story about how a trucker, former Army vet, was driving down the road. This is the actual guy. This is a story. The rest of this is completely AI, just recreation, but still really good. So he's driving along, and he sees this dude, wolf guy, trucking along, and he blasts it like 3 or 4 times, runs over it in the process, turns his truck around, and passes by a couple in the road with a big blood streak right next to it. And it goes, yeah. Then 3 months later, because he's driving around, it's a little hard to lock down. And the way he says it is agents, and maybe if I turn up the volume, I can have you say it, hear him say it for himself. Let's see. I'll put it there. Bewildered, I was detained as a couple of federal officers said, you killed... I'll let him tell it.
Officials said you killed one of our assets, and this is how things are going to go down from this point on. They took my gun, and they shut my bank account off. They keep people quiet, and I'm just not going to stay quiet because too many people are getting killed by these things and don't even know they're out there because of the suppression from the government.
How's that? That struck me and answers a few questions too. I mean, you could say, oh, missing 411 stuff leads to this. Well, yes and no. But this trucker, former Army vet, a former Army vet, runs over a wolf man or a werewolf or whatever you kind of, and two federal officers drag him into an interrogation room 3 months later and take his gun, freeze his accounts, and all the rest of it to shut him down and shut him up. And the key words they use, you killed one of our assets. For those of you who don't know, government assets are people and or places and or things, like typically like airplanes and stuff like that, but material things, but they can mean anything, really. If it's important to the government in its day-to-day clandestine operations, they call them assets. I'm not talking out of school here. Everybody who's ever watched FBI or CSI or Jason Bourne even knows this type of lingo. It's legit lingo. That's what they use in the field for real. I'm not, again, this is no big secret. But I find that super fascinating. So if they have werewolf guys or wolfmen or dogmen or whatever it is you want to call them, beg your pardon, on retainer, as it were, as assets, what else might be out there as an asset? I'll leave you to ponder that the entire week because we're out of time and I gotta go. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. My name is Tim Sudano. This has been Paranormal Insight, and next week we have Jen and Mondo on the show. So, until then, take care. If you have a paranormal experience that you would like to discuss on the show, please email us at paranormal.insight.podcast@gmail.com. That's paranormal.insight.podcast@gmail.com. paranormalinvestigation.com.